Hi, hi. Welcome, welcome. So in this video, I am going to talk about how to break your obsession with unavailable men. So there are three things I'm going to cover. First is why you get obsessed with unavailable men. This is really helpful to understand. Next is if you're already obsessed, what to do to break that obsession or even really addiction to that man. And number three, how to stop getting hooked on unavailable men in the future. So, if you're new here, hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a dating, feminine energy, and inner work coach for high achieving, smart, successful women. So, I'm glad you're here. And if this video is helpful for you, please like it, please share it with someone else that it might help, and comment on this video. Let me know what is resonating with you. And let's dive in. So, number one, why we get obsessed with unavailable people. So, to start, I want you to understand that it is not your fault that you got obsessed with this person. It's not a personal failing. There is nothing wrong with you. It has to do with how our brains work. It's neurobiology. So, you see, our brains are wired to pay more attention to things that are unpredictable and inconsistent. When you don't know when something is going to happen again, then when that thing happens and it's only inconsistently, unpredictably, and occasionally, it makes our brains pay attention to that more. So when the thing happens again, it releases a lot of dopamine. It feels really good, and that is addictive. So that creates an addiction. We get addicted to hearing from that person, the cycle with them, especially we're talking about unavailable people. So experiencing unpredictability and inconsistency when we're dating someone is going to trigger the reward center of our brains. And that is what makes us addicted to the cycle of their withdrawal and return through what's called intermittent reinforcement, which is much more powerful than continuous reinforcement. So when we don't know when the next hit, i.e. in this case, it's contact from him will come, our brain stays in a state of anticipation. And every hit feels more meaningful to the brain because it's unpredictable. So we get addicted to that dopamine high of when that does happen. So it releases more dopamine than someone who is predictable. So when someone who calls every evening, they always respond to text right away, they reach out to you consistently, they see you regularly multiple times a week, and they communicate with you in advance so you know when you're going to see them again. That does not create the same thing. So consistency and predictability don't create this dopamine high-low cycle that hooks our brain, which is why we can mistake the consistent, steady, and predictable guy for being boring, when what's happening is that he's not triggering the dopamine highs and lows that an unavailable, inconsistent man does. So I see a lot of women mistake the highs and lows they feel with the unavailable guy for love because they get obsessed with him and he ends up being on a pedestal because of scarcity. But it's not love, it's obsession, and you're just high on your brain's reward drugs. So intermittent reinforcement keeps us hooked and makes us persist even in the face of resistance, scraps of attention, and even ghosting. So it makes us not want to give up and want to try harder to solve the puzzle, to figure him out, to get him to come back, to respond, to choose us. And this causes overthinking, overanalyzing, obsessing. And we're obsessing about someone does not mean that's your soulmate. It's not a sign that he's your soulmate. In fact, it's probably the opposite. It's a sign that he's unavailable and actually not healthy and not safe for you. Because healthy love doesn't take up as much brain space because you know they'll be there and you know when. So there's no uncertainty, no anxiety. You don't have to overthink and overanalyze. It just is. It's steady, it's stable, it's secure. So if you've been on the hamster wheel of one unavailable guy after another, it's because you're wired to seek that out. Some of us are more vulnerable, and we are all vulnerable because this is how our brain works, but some of us are more vulnerable to this pattern because of our experiences of love in childhood. We didn't have steady, stable, or consistent love from one or both parents, so it feels normal to chase someone for scraps of attention and time and love. So we get our sense of self-worth from if that man chooses us, instead of having an inbuilt, inherent sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on someone else's external validation. But if love didn't feel unconditional as a child, but more based on your performance or factors that you couldn't figure out or control, then when a guy doesn't treat you like you are valuable when he is unavailable, you see that as normal. That love is something that you have to work for and earn versus something that is just given. And so we believe we do need to do something in order to be worthy, valuable, good enough, chosen. And so we can also be primed to chase, perform, and earn love, which is how you'll feel with an unavailable man. Like you need to somehow get that from him, right? That feels normal for you. So when someone actually available comes along and gives consistent attention, affection, presence, you can feel uncomfortable with that. It doesn't feel like anything we recognize. It's not familiar. In fact, we may even think something is wrong with him for choosing you so easily because you think something's wrong with you. So, how could he choose me without me having to earn it? What's wrong with him? And we can be primed to put unavailable people on pedestals and think they're better than us simply because they are unavailable. So, what do you do if you're already obsessed with an unavailable man? How do you break that addiction? So, number one, you need to admit that he is unavailable and accept that that's not going to change. He's not available to you, and you're not going to change it. Number two, recognize the opportunity cost of staying stuck on him. That's time lost meeting the right man for you. So don't be the woman who is waiting on an unavailable man for years, because I see this happen and it is not worth it. You're never going to get that time back. So value yourself and your time more. Number three, build the belief that better is out there. So go find stories of women like you who have found love with available men, who adore them, who pursued them, and want to commit to them. There are 8 billion people on this planet. He is just not that special. So I promise you, once you're over him, he's not going to mean what he means to you right now. When you meet someone who makes you feel safe and secure and good about yourself, when that person comes along, and that will happen when you're actually available for it. Okay. Number four, break the addiction. So you need to stop feeding it. You need to deprive your brain of its source of the addiction. Just like any addiction, you need to stop taking the drug. So you're going to go through withdrawals, just like any addiction. So what does that mean? You need to stop thinking about him and stop talking about him. Anytime that you want to do that, redirect your thoughts and change what you're thinking about and talking about. Block him, delete him off social media, get rid of anything that reminds you of him, starve that addiction. It might be hard, but you will starve it when you stop feeding it and it will go away. And then you want to replace the dopamine with something healthy instead. So create new goals for yourself, start working towards them, exercise, start a new project, do self-care, do personal development, spend time with healthy people who value you and love you. Go meet new people, not necessarily to date, but just to expand your social world. Get a pet. Pets give us oxytocin, which is healthy bonding, makes us feel less alone. Okay, so that's how you break it. It's actually pretty simple. You just need to have the discipline to do it. And number three, let's talk about what to do in the future to not get hooked on another unavailable man. So, number one, know the signs of someone who is unavailable. It is easy to seem available in the first several months, the first 1 month, 2 months, even 3 months. So, you want to wait before you get attached to someone new that you're just getting to know. Wait to see if he follows through on his words, if he shows up consistently over time, and over time is the key part. Okay, a lot of unavailable men love bomb in the beginning, and they seem available and they turn out not to be because they cannot maintain it. So see if he keeps his commitments, if he can handle intimacy, conflict, express needs, etc. And if he becomes flaky, inconsistent, if he withdraws or disappears, don't make excuses. Just let that man go. That way, you don't get addicted. You don't get on that roller coaster to begin with. It can be super helpful to have accountability in the dating process so that, like a coach, for example, can catch when you are starting to get hooked on somebody who's not available, or if you're hooked on somebody, getting help to get off of that and find someone who is. Number two, learn what availability looks like and feels like. If you've not experienced it before, or if you're used to actually being repulsed by it, which some of us are, stay. Keep dating that guy. Keep saying yes to the guy who feels a bit more quote unquote boring because he's not triggering you and he's not triggering those dopamine highs and lows. So pay attention to if you feel safe, if you feel secure, if you feel relaxed and calm, like you don't need to perform, but can just be. Just be yourself. So notice, how do you feel with him, and also how do you feel apart from him? If you feel like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or you feel peace and calm and security, there's nothing subconsciously saying, like, I feel like he's not really available. I feel like he's going to disappear. Because in my experience with many, many clients, you actually do know if this guy is available or not, but you're choosing to ignore it. So don't. Number three, don't run from the available guy. Okay. An available guy might actually scare the crap out of you, and you might want to run. You might want to nitpick him because availability can actually be quite triggering and scary. You can be afraid of it. You can be afraid of the vulnerability of that, of being hurt, of being trapped. You can do all kinds of things once you actually have that real, stable, steady, and secure person because it's unfamiliar or it feels undeserved or because commitment is actually scary to you. So there are lots of ways that we self-sabotage a good thing, a available, good, solid person. So this is something I help my clients catch because it can be very sneaky. And number four, you need to unhook your worth from if someone chooses you. Work on building internal self-worth that's not based off of someone else's validation. Take those men off the pedestals. You are enough and worthy and lovable simply because you exist. And so I do this work with my clients through inner child work and subconscious belief reprogramming work. This is where it all really shifts. So if this video was helpful, please like it, share it with someone else that it would help, and comment with what resonated. And if you are ready to break this cycle of unavailable men and finally find a safe, steady, secure, available love, then you can click the link in my bio for the details for working with me one-on-one or in the High Value Woman Mastermind and apply for a spot. And if you are watching this on YouTube, the link is in the description. And I will see you next time.